This video is intended for a mature audience only. If you're a kid, please go away. Hello everybody, Loto for Life. You're bringing guys a brand new video. This time around we got a deck profile of Tenyi. Tenyi is a deck that came out, I believe, 2 sets ago, and I forgot what the set before Chaos Impact was, but I digress. And it's a fun deck. It's not anything particularly crazy. I feel like it has a lot of potential to be a really good deck in the future. But however, the deck is constantly like fighting with itself. It's so weird. The main deck monsters want you to have either no monsters on the field or non-effect monsters on the field, yet they only have 2 non-effect monsters, a Link 1 and a Link 3. Everything else is an effect monster. So it really does counteract itself in that way. And also the deck is really confusing if it wants to be a go second deck or a go first deck. It's really annoying. So I'm trying to kind of take this as a going first with a possibility of going second if it needs to deck, but it's primarily going first, and you generally want to set up a board with your big Link 3 along with maybe some other stuff so that then you can possibly counter and really control the board and such. So let's get on with it. First and foremost, we got the newest one, Ashuna, the Tenyi Spirit. Ashuna basically, when it's in your graveyard or in your hand and you control a non-effect monster, or I believe while you have no monsters on your field, let's see here. Yeah, if you control them, face up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, spell summon a Tenyi monster from your deck, but you're locked into worms only for the rest of the turn. It kind of sucks that you're locked only into that particular typing, but however, it is a pretty good card overall and helps combo with everything else. And also, before I forget, it and all other main deck Tenyi monsters have the effect where if you control no monsters or if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can special summon it from your hand. So yeah, that's really pretty nice and everything, but however, it's just, just another really good one. And it's level 7 too, so that helps out too. Then we got Fashuda, the Tenyi Spirit Fashuda. Basically, again, has a special summon effect, but then it also has the effect where if it's in your graveyard or in your hand and you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish it from your graveyard to target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Pretty nice card overall, combos really well with the Link 1, so just an overall great card. And then we got good old Tenyi Spirit Nahata. Nahata is a kind of like reverse Kalute. Basically, if again it has a special summon effect, but then if a Tenyi monster, a non-effect monster and an opponent's monster battles, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard to drop your opponent's monster by 1500. That is really good and is just very handy for deck, especially since if you get stuck into the Link 1, you're not going to be going anywhere. And even the Link 3, with how powerful he is, with 3k attack, he can still get punched over by certain things. So it's really handy having this, especially if your opponent's trying to run over your guy with a Boral Sword or something. So yeah. Then we got triples, Tenyi Spirit Mapura. Mapura again has a special summon effect, but then also if he's in your hand or graveyard and your opponent activates a card or effect that targets one of your non-effect monsters, you can banish it from your hand or graveyard, negate that effect and destroy it, which is pretty good, just general target protection. And yeah. Then we got Tenyi Spirit Safana. Safana basically is a monster reborn. If one of your non-effect monsters gets killed in battle, you can banish it from your graveyard, special summon that non-effect monster from your graveyard. Pretty handy, not much else to it. I believe it also pops a card if I remember it. Yeah, then you can target one, special summon it, and then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, which is pretty handy. And then I got triple Tenyi Spirit Adhara. Or Adhara, I'm not really sure which way it's pronounced, but I digress. Adhara is a pretty good card as well. You banish it from your hand or graveyard to add one of your banished Tenyi spirits from to your hand. And that's about it. It has the effect of special summon itself, but there's nothing really else noteworthy about it other than it being a level 1 tuner, so yeah. Then I got 2 Effect Veiler for general hand trap purposes. You can also play 2 Ash Blossom or whichever hand traps you want. So that is that. Yeah. There we go. Now then, since we are going first, I am playing 3 of the field spell, the Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi. I feel like that you really don't need flawless and perfection right next to each other, but I digress. So basically, non-effect monsters you control are unaffected by the effects of effect monsters, and also if your opponent's special summons an effect monster while you have a non-effect monster on the field or a face-down monster, you can draw 2 cards. You can only do that once per turn. This is a really good field spell overall. It protects your non-effect monsters, most notably your boss monster, and also lets you draw a few cards since this deck tends to exhaust its resources pretty quickly and easily. So very helpful card for the going first build, absolutely necessary. Then I got Triple Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. This card is a card I really wish I see more often. It's a Searcher and a Fool's Burial. Basically, it lets you send a worm monster, or I believe it has to be a Tenyi monster in specific. Yeah, send 1 worm monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a non-effect monster that's face up, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Tenyi monster with a different name for the monster sent to the graveyard. So yeah, it basically sets up your graveyard while also getting you a monster in hand, and is a very, very potent card. My only issue is that it, along with the other cards that this deck has and its access to, are non-searchable, which has resulted in me getting screwed over God knows how many times. In fact, in all my playtesting, I've only ever drawn this card like twice. It really, really sucks when you don't see it. Then I got 2 World Legacy Successors. This deck really needs the extra summoning, so it's pretty handy having this. 2 Pot of Desires, just to kind of get you going and, you know, draw more cards. 2 Called by the Grave, because this deck gets destroyed by hand traps. 1 Terraforming, starts out the field spell. 1 Fool's Burial, 1 Monster Reborn. That's it for the spells. Then I got 3 of the Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. This card basically is an Infernity Barrier while you control a face-up non-effect monster, and then if it gets removed by your opponent, you get to summon any non-effect monster from your extra deck for free. Also, I believe it summons one from your deck if you want to. Yeah, from your extra deck, just from your extra deck. It has to be destroyed by your opponent, so yeah. Pretty good card overall though. It's, again, you don't see it often because this deck does not have any way of searching its spells and traps, but however, it's a really good card when you do have it, and even if your opponent does destroy it, oh, you get a free monster out of it anyways. And then I play 2 Solemn Strike for the extra removal and negation. That's it for the main deck lineup. On to the extra deck. I got triple of the Monk of the Tenyi. I've seen some builds that only play 2 of this guy. You need 3 of this guy so bad. You go through him so easily and he gets destroyed easily, and without him the deck really can't function. So I cannot stress this enough, you need 3 of this guy. Then I got 2 Shaman of the Tenyi. It's an effect monster, unfortunately, but however, it has a pretty good effect. Once per turn, you can discard a card, special summon any of your worms from your graveyard, but you cannot activate monster effects from your extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for, I believe, Tenyi monsters. And then when an attack is declared involving a face-up non-effect monster you control, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Pretty good card overall. You don't really use her second effect too often, but you do use that revival effect when link climbing. Then I got 2 Berserker of the Tenyi. This is your big boss. No effect, 3k attack. You generally want to try and make him as soon as possible so that you can start utilizing your other card effects pretty easily. And it just really helps with, you know, just being a big boss monster that has 3k attack and is essentially unstoppable whenever you have all of your dudes in your graveyard along with the field spell up. And it gets even better if you have the counter trap. It really does. Next up, for the rest, I got 1 Link Kuriboh, just pretty handy, Link 1 just in case. 1 Nightmare Cerberus for popping, 1 Nightmare Phoenix for popping, 1 Draco Master of the Tenyi. I'm not the biggest fan of this card. This really should have been another non-effect monster, but oh well. It's a 2600 beater, and then has the effect where it says 2 or more monsters, including a link monster, to link summon it, cannot be destroyed by battle by an effect monster, and if you control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in your graveyard. You can only use this effect of Draco Masters of the Tenyi once per turn. It's a good card, but again, it directly counters what you want to do, and it also doesn't help that you only have 2 monsters in your deck that are non-effect monsters that are able to really make this card usable. So he's a nice card for another Link 3, but he's just not particularly amazing. 1 Borolo Dragon for closing out the game alongside a Boral Sword Dragon. one Cypher Lord Omega to kind of just recoup your losses a bit more, and one Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, a synchro monster with a beast of an effect where if your opponent activates a monster effect once per turn, you can just banish that monster, and then if he destroys a monster in battle, your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's attack power, just going for that raw amount of damage and everything. He's good going first or second because he can disrupt your opponent, or he can just absolutely wreck face. Very helpful. So that is it for Tenyi. This deck is pretty straightforward. There's not really much to talk about in terms of this deck being like combo oriented or anything. It's a pretty straightforward deck, and it's a fun deck. I feel like Konami could really make it really good if they were to just give it a bit more support. They really need to decide on if they want it to be a going first or going second deck, and if they really want it to focus more on the non-effect aspect, or if they really want to focus more on the effect aspect, because it's really confusing what they want to do with it. I'd also really appreciate a spell trap card searcher because this deck needs it so bad, but I digress. What do you guys think of Tenyi? What do you guys think I should do with this deck? Do you think I should, do you have any ideas, recommendations, or concerns? Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Peace out. Thank you all for watching the video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And see y'all later.